Welcome to the Emerge podcast, where Ronnie Doss shares insights regarding life, leadership, and personal development. For more of our resources, visit ronniedoss.com. Now, let's join the podcast.
Hey guys, it's Ronnie Doss. Welcome to the Emerge podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about pain and how we try to avoid it so often in our life, and how it can really be a gift if we're willing to look within the whole situation to see what may be rising to the surface that we can deal with and maybe in some ways master, so that we're not so afraid of pain, not so afraid of the unknown that may be coming. Now, right now, there's a lot of unknown. When you have people that are at home from their jobs who have never been home this much before, who feel like they're isolated, who are quarantined or in shelter-in-place mode, and they're home, they can't get out. They're dealing with their kids. They're being asked to homeschool. They maybe have cutbacks on their job. Maybe they're not sure about their job, the future of their job. Maybe they've been laid off. Maybe financially they're really struggling. There's a lot of stresses right now that people are feeling. And I'm telling you, it's not quite the way that it's been before. I think this is very, very different. People aren't used to not being able to go out and socialize, meeting one another, and do things that they would normally do in a group setting. I think we're very social creatures, and so we like to get out and get to know people. We like to see our friends. We like to shake hands, give people hugs. We like to do that. We like to connect. This is who we are. And right now, we're not doing that. And so that pain and that bit of what we would call maybe a different approach to each day, because it is a very different approach to each day, it's causing pressure in certain points in people's lives that they're just not used to feeling. And it's new. And I think on some level, it can be a good thing if we're willing to learn from it. Because if we don't learn from it, we could say, well, this was all for no reason, and I went through all of this, and I didn't get anything good out of it. And I've just learned in my life that just can't be the approach. I can't have that perspective that I just wasted X number of days, and now with this, X number of weeks, and didn't get anything good out of it, and not willing to make any adjustments moving forward. And so pain can actually be your friend. I think that pain is actually required for real progress. Now, you don't have to inflict pain upon yourself, but I think you can be willing to make yourself a little more uncomfortable in an intentional type of way, or what I've called many times intentional tension, to make you stronger, to develop what we would say is stronger muscles, because you're resisting something or dealing with something that you might not have dealt with if you were just looking to be comfortable all the time. And what we found with professional athletes, with fighters, with people that are very successful entrepreneurs, these are the type of people that put themselves into stressful situations, and they literally fight their way out of it. A lot of times people will they'll stretch their capacity, and it feels weird. They've never been at this level. They've never had this number of team members or this number of employees. They've never had a budget this high to operate with, and demands, or maybe even with investors into the company. They've never had that before. And so they've put themselves in this scenario where it's like sink or swim. And that pressure brings out something within them. You get to find out really who you are when you're in a pressure situation. And it's like being in the middle of a windstorm. You know, winds are coming from all different directions. And when you put yourself into a situation where you feel pain and when you feel like you're being stretched, it's like the winds can hit you from many different directions. The decisions that you make as you climb the ladder of success, they carry more weight. And there's a chance that more people could be hurt. There's a chance more that you could be hurt, that you could make a decision that's not best for you or the company or for your family. And you have to weather that. You have to be able to handle that if you're going to keep growing and making progress. And that's pain. That's what we're talking about. But you know, the wind that you're hitting, the same winds that put out a candle, that blow out a candle, fuel the flames of a fire. And so if you think about that, these winds are coming. If we use them properly, the right way, and some people say, well, I just don't know how to do that. Well, you don't have to know how to do it. That's the thing, is none of us know when we're now immersed into some new situation we've never been in before that's very unfamiliar. We don't know how to handle it. But what I do want to do today is just kind of paint the picture of the benefits of it and what we can really do so that we are forging ahead, and that when we come out of this, we're stronger, we're wiser, we're more adept, we are more ready, prepared for what could be next, if that's even possible. but at least we've edged out some of our capacity. We've expanded our capacity because we used this pain, or we used this season that we're in very well. And so the first thing that I believe about this is that comfort is an actual insult to potential. I read that somewhere once. I put it in my notes. I saw that, and it has stuck with me for a while, that comfort is an insult to potential. You could have great potential as it pertains to a business. Like, you could really be someone that reaches the far ends of the globe with your product and with your service. But because maybe you're afraid of exposure, or you don't want people to find out that you really believe you're unqualified in some way, or you have this fear of failing and messing it up, you start to fall into a place where you get comfortable and you stay there. And that's okay. I'm not saying that that's bad, because look, if you're comfortable and your bills are paid and you can put food on the table, you got a roof over your head and you're taking care of your family, hey, good for you. No problem. But also know that if you have a lot of potential that you feel is untapped, comfort is one of the things that can cause you to just stay exactly where you're at, because you don't feel anything there. Comfort causes you to not feel the pain. And without that pain, it's almost as if you don't need to do anything different. And so if you're not doing anything different and you have some potential that's untapped, then of course your potential is not going to be expressed. You're not going to find just how much potential you have that's there, because you're just taking it easy on the level you're at. And again, you don't have to. I'm just saying that this is what pain can do for you. And so comfort is an insult. Think about that, to your potential. You've got great potential. If you're always looking just to stay comfortable, you're never going to maximize that potential. And if that's okay with you, that's fine. But just know that pain is not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to potential, because a lot of times pain can force out of you new ideas and new ways of thinking that can help your potential to be expressed. And so, comfort really fuels what I call stagnation. It can actually reduce our hunger to want to work and get new things done. And essentially, it makes us weak. So if you take somebody who's really physically fit, they have a strong body, and you don't put them in, or they don't put themselves into an environment where they lift weights and they resist things and push against things, those muscles, they're going to start to get weaker. If you put somebody who's really strong in the bed and don't allow them to get out of the bed for 4 weeks or 6 weeks, their muscles can even atrophy. And that's a problem. And so comfort is a good thing to an extent. But if you don't have any pain or anything that you're pushing against or resisting, you're going to get weaker. The second thing about comfort is it's an addiction. Once you've gotten used to comfort, the conveniences of pushing the button on the wall, and you keep your thermostat set at 72 degrees in your house or in your car, and you're just so used to being comfortable, it becomes an addiction. Even more to where that if you're used to being comfortable, the moment you're not, it freaks you out. And so, think about this. It's like having overprotective parents. Like, they don't allow the kid to fall, fail, to mess up ever. They're always so protective that they actually wind up making the child weaker, because the child hasn't dealt with real life scenarios at all. And of course, I think there's something really cool about keeping a kid, in a sense, innocent from knowing all of the problems that are going on in the world, especially like right now. I mean, if you look around in the news, all the things that are happening and have been happening for decades, I think there's something really cool about keeping their mind innocent of those things and not knowing. But you've also got to be very careful that you're not so overprotective that they're not growing and getting stronger in certain areas that may help them to develop what we would call like life skills, so that they can interact and that they can develop relationships with other people. If you start to develop relationships with other people, you're going to get hurt. You are. And so if it becomes an addiction to you where you're comfortable, then maybe you're not going to go out and meet new people. You're not going to take a risk of getting hurt. And so you pull yourself back and you stay right where you're at in a safe environment. And that safety, the neural pathways start to be set more and more through repetition and through certain chemicals being fired off in your brain because you're comfortable. Well, it's just like anything else. Comfort becomes an addiction, just like sugar is an addiction. Caffeine is an addiction. And so discovery of anything new requires that you're willing to push past that addiction and move into what some people call chaos. And you don't have to throw yourself fully into chaos, but you can start to step into chaos just a little bit more. And a lot of times it's not very comfortable in chaos because you're just so unfamiliar with what you see and what's going on. And so I think that's huge, is knowing that it can be an addiction. And so just be very careful of passing judgment on people that you think may have addictions to Netflix and television, that may have addictions to drinking, may have addictions to drugs, may have addiction to gambling, may have addiction to any other thing. It's like, be very careful of judging that, because many people, as my mentor used to say, many people are addicted to comfort. He would say it's the same addiction, it's just a different high. And so you want to be careful with that. The third thing is that comfort is an easy way out. Now, what I mean by that is, if you look at politicians, in many cases, maybe not all, but if you look at politicians, it's really easy for them from a very comfortable place to make decisions about sending young people to war. It's easy to send soldiers to war when your kids aren't on the front line. You know, that being comfortable, it's kind of the easy way out. You may not have what you call skin in the game. And so it's easy to tell people to do something when you don't feel that you need to do that at all. It's easy to tell people to give to some cause or to some charity when you're going to be the one to benefit from it. It's easy to tell people to do things when you can sit perched up from a very comfortable place, raking in the lion's share of the perks to whatever that scenario is. It's easy to do that. When you don't have very much skin in the game, it's kind of easy. It becomes an easy way out. And so I think that we have to put skin in the game to see really what we're capable of. Make an investment into what you're doing. I used to have a friend who would talk about making investments, and he said, I invest into things that are hands-on. So I can have my say and a part in what's going on in a business, a company. And I think that's really true, because if you don't have any skin in the game, it's very easy for you to just not know exactly what could be done, what needs to be done. You don't really get the whole situation when you have no skin in the game. You just don't understand it to the depth that I think that you could. And it works the same way in life. If you won't put any skin in the game, and if you won't make any investment into it, and you won't take any risk at all, I think you're going to miss out on a lot. And right now, there's a lot of pressure. There is a lot of pain. And if we can't get rid of that pain, per se, if we can't change the whole situation, then what we want to change is our perspective on the situation, so that at least if we're feeling pain, we can assess it and ask ourselves how we can use it to be better, so that 30 days from now, 6 months from now, 3 years from now, we are more equipped to be able to handle whatever the next thing may be that will come. And if I've learned anything about life this far, not that I'm the expert on life at all, but in the past 20 years, since September 11th, 2001, think about how many changes there have been in the world, and all the changes that have gone on as a result of that event. Like, that was the start of a lot of changes. Everything is changing, and things will continue to change. If you resist change and you're afraid of change and you run from it, you're going to get swept away. You can either embrace it, that change is coming, and you ask yourself what you can do about it. I'm not saying that you lay down completely to change and you don't push against it if you feel there's something you should stand for. But you can't just resist change because you want to stay comfortable, that you just want things to stay the way that they are. They never have, and I don't believe they ever will. And so if you really want to maximize your potential, if you are feeling pain, you want to look at it and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And then take the idea of what you're learning from it and ask yourself how you can assimilate it into an action step of doing something better, refining your approach, becoming more efficient, more effective in how you do your life. If you look at it that way, I think then this offers you a gift. It's very difficult to unwrap, right? Life gives you these gifts, and they're hard to unwrap sometimes. But once you unwrap them and you get to the middle of it, the center of it, you see what's in there. And I think it offers you something really good. And I think that's an important thing to remember in all of this. And so my hope for you is that as you gain any self-awareness here, as you walk through this situation, if you gain any self-awareness by being at home, if you're gaining anything, I would challenge you to look at that. And if you develop any awareness in it, turn it into an agreement. Turn it into something where you say, look, I learned this. This is a new rule for my life. I'm going to implement this, and I'm going to stick to it because I'm going to use the pain that I felt to make me better. And if you will do that, take any awareness, anything that you get, if you realize, hey, I need to be spending more time with my family, real intentional family time. Once all this is over, I want to make sure that we stick to the family time thing. Take that awareness and turn it into an agreement, right? If you realize through all of this that you can exercise at home, you need to be getting more physically fit, then take that awareness and turn it into an agreement. If something about this scared you and you're worried about your finances and you know, hey, I've got to do something about my finances, take that awareness and turn it into an agreement so that moving forward, you are doing something better and your life gets better. Maybe not immediately, but it starts to turn in the right direction because of what it is that you've gone through here. And so pain is this requirement for progress. And so don't waste the pain. Never waste a hurt. Never throw pain to the side and just try to avoid it. Embrace it. If you're feeling it, embrace it. Ask yourself what you can learn from it. Create an agreement from it and stick to that. And I believe if you'll do that, over time, you'll produce better results. You'll feel better about yourself. And you'll see that a lot of times the pain that we have felt is actually a gift and that we need it to grow. This is Ronnie Doss. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, like it, share it. If you want any of our video resources, the Boost program, I keep talking about that because the videos are free. You can go to ronniedoss.com/boost and use promo code BOOST, and it will make those videos free for you. There are videos that will come out just about every week to help you to stay focused. They're 4 or 5 minutes long. You can get that. We have our other resources there. But I thank you so much for being a part of this, for listening and sharing it. I look forward to talking to you again very soon. Take care.